Hello, friend. Welcome to another episode of the Mount Rushmore of Everything. This week, we are talking about Pixar characters. Now, to be clear, we're going to have a different list for Pixar villains. Therefore, we are not including villains in this list. This is just characters who are not villains. They don't necessarily need to be the protagonist or anything like that, but they are Pixar characters who are not villains.
I'm going to get us started, and there's just, this one is a non-negotiable. It's, in my opinion, the one that got us excited about computer animation.
Okay.
And it's going to be Woody.
Totally agreed, non-negotiable.
Yeah. I remember when I heard of Pixar, I just thought, but what is that going to look like? All made in a computer. It's just weird. Amazing thing about it is that they did not focus on the technical aspect of it. They focus on the story. They focus on developing the character. And you have this wonderful little guy, cowboy guy named Woody. And he's just fantastic. And we fell in love with him and all the cast and everything that Pixar did after that. You're just like, what else? Give me more of this. This is great.
There is no good argument against. I mean, he's the protagonist of not one, not two, not three, but 4 Pixar films, which is 18% of all of them. He's the protagonist.
Yes.
So there's that, which no other of the franchises even has 4 movies.
The shorts.
Plus the shorts. But if you think iconic Pixar character, I mean, he is the Pixar character, right? If you told me Pixar was going to get rid of the lamp and they were going to take a character from one of their movies to become the new Pixar,
Who
it's
would
Woody,
it be?
Right? It has to be Woody.
Yeah, so Woody is to Pixar what Mickey Mouse is to Disney.
Absolutely. And so if you Google it, he's the first one that shows up. So if you do whatever characters, the first one that shows up is Woody. Number 4 on Ranker for whatever it's worth. It's hard to figure out what Pixar movies are more iconic, which ones are more iconic for the characters and all that. But Toy Story and Woody specifically to Toy Story are both so iconic that I don't even think it matters whether he's iconic because of Toy Story or whatever direction it goes doesn't matter because Toy Story are some of the most successful films. The second and third most successful Pixar films are both Toy Story ones. And that's not including Toy Story 1, which was the first one. So it gets OG cred. Some of the more successful. Again, he's the protagonist, especially in the 4th one. You can argue that, yes, he's the protagonist of the other ones, but other characters are equally as important. Fine. The 4th one, though, is his movie. But, even though, when you pull his string, right, and the reach for the sky, right, all that is, that's Woody, right?
And
that's
and
iconic.
you know what's the other line that he says in that, there's a snake in my boot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
There is a reason also why that fact you said that they ended his arc with a 4th movie is the only Pixar movie that has 4 movies.
Woody has to be there, for sure. And can you have Woody without Buzz? So I have Buzz as my second.
Me too.
Yeah. Also non-negotiable, I think, because, I mean, they're inseparable to the point that I saw a list where they did top 25 Pixar characters, and they did such a cop-out that they didn't even separate them into 1 and 2. They put Woody and Buzz together. And if you look at, the best friendships in Pixar, number 1. They're inseparable. Also, when you Google it, Buzz is that second one that shows up. Can you have Woody without Buzz? I don't know. He's the only Pixar character to have a Macy's Day Parade balloon. Fun fact. Yes, before you say anything, there was a Mr. Potato Head balloon, but that was not the Toy Story version. That was the Hasbro, I think it's Hasbro, toy version. It was just the toy one, so that doesn't count. Along with Woody is also in those 4 Pixar films and probably the most iconic films. And again, it's just one of those that, can you really have Woody here without Buzz? I mean, it's a necessary
they did
dynamic.
They did a great job with the story. They really focus on that. That's what drove those 2 characters was the whole story. They knew where they were going. They knew the purpose of what and how both complement. I love the complementing side, how different both of them are,
Yep.
Physically, from the design point of view, one skinny and slinky.
And gangly.
Yeah, and the other one
like this or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the other one, it's tough, husky, and
Yeah.
Very, very, it's just cool. One is in the space, the other one is in the west.
Yep.
The color scheme of them is Buzz is very cool colors, and Woody, very warm earth colors and the colors that they pick for each of. It's so well done and thought of.
They perfectly represent what they each are supposed to. Woody is that old nostalgic toy that the kid, doesn't matter how cool he really was, that's his toy. But Buzz, though, is that perfect representation of the new Star Wars action figure, the new whatever that, the wings pop out and it has a laser and it makes noise. And I know Woody has this, but let's be honest, it's a little...
It's old school.
It's old school.
It's cool, but old school.
If you had to pick one, then yes, it's Woody. But I don't think we have to pick one because, yes, we're only picking 4 Pixar characters, but those 2 are there at the top.
Yeah.
Give us a third one.
All right, I'm going to go with Dory.
Okay. Interesting.
I didn't like this pick. I had others that I liked better, but just thinking of the popularity of the character to the point that they had to make a whole movie just about this character. That's how popular it is, how much kids like it. Every kid, when we go to the zoo, and we go to the aquarium in the zoo here, and they have that type of fish there, not only my kids, you hear every kid like, there's Dory.
Yep.
It's such a quick identification of the character. It was a surprising character. When it came out, everybody ended up talking about how funny Dory was.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it, but I think that she deserves a spot in the Mount Rushmore.
I grappled with that one for a while. I considered it. I ended up not, but I agree with all of those arguments.
She has her own sequel.
Yep.
You think of maybe Cars has a little bit more of that, the Mater character. They pushed him a little more. Cars is still Cars. I guess they couldn't have call it Finding Nemo 2, but then she rises to be the star of that second movie. That didn't happen with Monsters, Inc., for example. I mean, it's a prequel, but they are still focusing on both characters. So it is a very important and a very popular character, Dory.
For sure. I reserve the right to change my mind and come back and say yes, because I could see that. But for now, I'll go with another one that I think I'm pretty comfortable to lock in, and that's Mr. Incredible. This is one that if you look at like Pixar advertising, or like if you go on Disney Plus or whatever, most commonly you see Mr. Incredible right there. And if you think of the most iconic of the Incredibles, it has to be Mr. Incredible. He's first of all, the reason that they're called the Incredibles is because he's Mr. Incredible. But he's also the protagonist of the first, more iconic movie. Now, Mrs. Incredible, or the Elastigirl, is the protagonist of the second one. Yeah. But the first one's the definitive one. The reason the second one's so successful is everybody wanted a second one desperately because of the first one. I would argue main and most recognizable character from The Incredibles, which is the most overall successful of the Pixar movies. The first one was wildly successful relative to the time. And the second one is currently the most successful. First and 10th most profitable Pixar movies. And at this point, it's really a gut thing. Woody and Buzz are there. Yeah. Period. Yeah. From here, I have a list of like 6
it is
that I think any of them are equally...
And you can argue for each one. All right.
So give us your fourth.
Okay. Well, I'm still debating and I need to pick one. I'm not super crazy about it. But again, just like with Dory, I'm going to go with Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
Just because of the popularity of the franchise, the catchphrases, how much merchandise it's still out there about this character. He has 3 movies. So I think very similar to Dory's argument. It's just a popular Pixar character that is easily associated with Pixar, identified, very loved, and that's it.
I'm going to say I agree. So I was leaning a little bit towards another one, but I just can't get away from the gut that goes a little more the Dory way and the Lightning McQueen way. And I think the 3 movies is one really important aspect. It's the 4th one that shows up on Google, part of 3 movies. He kind of is Cars, even though Cars 2, yes, technically Mater is the protagonist, but I think that's where they went wrong. So I agree with Lightning McQueen. I think Dory was another good I could absolutely see Dory. I could even see that over Mr. Incredible. Let us know what you think. What are your 4? Let us know in the comments below. Keep the discussion going. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. And hey, you made it this far, so you probably liked it. If not, why do you dislike having fun so much?
Yes.
Why are you 10 minutes in now, or 8 minutes in, whatever it is?
Take long.
Yeah, you can click off of the video. You know that,
Yes.
right? Be sure to also subscribe. Click that little notification bell so you know when new videos come out, because we have new videos coming out every single Thursday. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you next time. If you didn't know that Mr. Incredible and therefore The Incredibles was Pixar, you are shockingly ignorant.
Sorry.
I'm going to guess you
not my
also don't
opinion.
know that Star Wars is from
opinion.
George Lucas. Oh, I didn't know
That's
George
what it is.
Lucas did Star Wars, says you. Lion King, Disney? Had no idea. I thought that it was Paramount, says you. Come on now.